Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I want to talk about muscle tone, developing muscle tone. Now, the first thing to note is that what we refer to typically as muscle tone is actually, it needs to be defined because it's not really what muscle tone is. So if you look up the definition of muscle tone, really what muscle tone is the essentially the kind of contraction that's in your muscle whenever it's passively flexed or extended. Okay, so like if you kind of like just kind of move your arm like this, there's a level of resistance, like a baseline level of resistance that is actually associated with what you call muscle tone. So what we refer to as muscle tone is not really what it is in the true sense of the definition. Now, I think what we refer to as muscle tone is in fact the way the muscles look, like a slight muscle look that's not bulky or anything like that. That's typically, I think, what people are referring to. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of having to write down my reps here too. So that's typically what people are referring to. And it's not really muscle tone, it's just generally some level of muscle development that also involves being able to see the muscle, which means that it also is associated with some level of, like some lower level of body fat. Okay, so it's important to kind of understand that. First off, let me go over here and get some rows in. All right, grab 20 of these rows. Now, I always like to hold that last rep. But now, so somebody would probably look at me and say I have a lot of muscle tone, but I think it's only because you see some slight muscle, you see some muscle development, and because my body fat is relatively low. So I'm probably about, if I were to guess, probably about 15% now. So it's not ultra low, but maybe just on average it is. Now, really the way that you develop muscle tone, which is basically just kind of like well-trained muscles that you can kind of see and have like a certain firmness and look, is you just need to strength train. You need to strength train, and then you need to eat decently enough so that you don't hold on to a whole lot of extra fat. Okay, and that's important to understand because a lot of people are like, I just want to tone up a little bit, but like really what you mean is you want to develop your muscles and to be able to see them. So I'm gonna get some of these shrugs, and you're probably not gonna be able to see my face, but you can just hear me. So in order to develop that kind of look to your muscle, what you want to do is you just want to engage in some level of strength training. Okay, now I've done lots and lots of strength training over my all of my time training. I've done a lot, and so like typically what I just recommend is that you engage in regular strength training. So you need to be hitting full body twice a week at least. And I would say, aim for, I wouldn't do low rep ranges per se. Even though in a sense it doesn't matter, but if you want more development, you need to be going for, I would say anywhere from like 6 reps on up. Sometimes people think that getting a whole lot of, like a whole lot of reps, like lightweight and ultra high reps, like 50, 100 reps, like that somehow tones the muscle more. But the main thing you really need is just some level of muscle stimulation. Now, moderate weight, moderate reps, so like 6 to 12 reps, where that's about the maximum you can do. That's going to build muscle more because you're fatiguing the muscle more, especially if you do a lot of sets. But I just say as a baseline, anywhere from 6 reps on up, and then maybe 3 sets per body muscle group if you're just trying to tone. Now, here, let me get some more push-ups. Ooh, that burns. Man, that burns. All right. So, as far as like the fat part comes, like as far as your body fat percentage, where you can actually start to see your trained muscles, the main thing I recommend is, now obviously, if you really want to be lean and healthy, then you just need to eat clean. So that's going to be mainly little to no processed food, you know, drinking a lot of water, eating a lot of non-starchy vegetables. That's kind of like the baseline of your diet, and you know, stuff like that. But I mean, you know, if you want to kind of get lean, because you know that's mostly how I eat, but you know, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to all those details. I just try to eat mostly like natural food or whatever, and so I've been maintaining maybe approximately about 15% body fat for many years now. But anyhow, the point that I'm trying to make is, if you just kind of want to get generally lean and kind of start to see your muscle definition and all that kind of stuff, then you at least need to be doing stuff like only drinking water, you know, with very few exceptions, and not eating too late. You know, honestly, something I need to work on these days. And, you know, getting your sleep. And again, making sure at least the bulk of your diet consists of non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens and whatnot. What you might want to do is have like a certain, you can do it however you want to do it, but you might want to have a certain cutoff period where after this time I'm not going to eat any sort of like heavy, high energy foods. When I say high energy, I mean like high carbohydrate foods like, you know, potatoes and stuff like that. Now, if you're not doing a lot of processed food, then that's going to take care of a lot of that, because processed food is really like a big deal, you know, and I'm going to include in there sweet drinks of all kinds, you know, sodas, tea, punch, fruit juice, etc., all the stuff that has sweet stuff in it. And I even include artificially sweetened stuff too, because, you know, it's chemicals, and some of that stuff reacts similar to sugar in your body. So anyway, this is kind of like what you want to do if you want to get a toned look, understanding that toned is not necessarily what we've defined it to be. Okay, by the way, you've been seeing me journal here in my video. If you want to get a copy of my digital journal, go to patreon.com/Shawn B2B Fitness, and you can become a member, a patron on my page there, and you can get a digital copy of my digital journal, a copy of my digital journal. But then also, you don't even have to be a member. You can just get that journal. You can purchase that journal. If you don't want to become a member, you can purchase separately. Purchase it separately. Sorry about that. All right, let me get some more rows. Now, let me say this too. The muscle tone, well, the muscle development that I have, that you can see, I mean, I'm not the biggest person, but the muscle tone or development that you see with me, like I say, it does come with a lower body fat percentage. But then also, I will say, don't underestimate the muscular development. And I'll say this, and I'll let this be it for this video. When I became consistent with calisthenics, that was when I really started to notice muscle tone or notice like the cuts and stuff like that in my arms. And this is when I was, I was doing anywhere from like 5 to 7 sets of however many push-ups I could do, pull-ups, chin-ups, and dips. I may have been doing some more, but that was the main stuff I was doing. And so what happened was I did experience muscle growth and muscle maturity. And I still remember one day in particular, I wasn't really thinking much of it, because sometimes when you get results, you don't notice it because you're with yourself all the time. And so a friend of mine came to the gym when I was there. He was like, "Man, Shawn, you got those cut arms." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And so it kind of made me look a little differently, and see that indeed you could see more striation. You could see, the tie-ins between like the different muscle groups a little better. And so that was developed from doing three days a week of all the calisthenics that I was doing. But again, so that muscle maturity, that muscle growth and development develops over time. And so some of that stuff I'm saying is, I didn't have a very high body fat percentage around that time when I was getting into my calisthenics, but you couldn't really see as much muscle development until my muscle had matured through training for a while. So both are important. But anyway, if you follow what I said about, maybe doing like 3 sets per muscle group of maybe 6 on up reps, like at least 6 reps or so, then I think, where you're actually kind of feeling some muscle burn, or muscle fatigue, then you're going to be adequately training your muscles. You just have to be consistent at that point. And then you need to, eat pretty clean. And that will help the muscles show up as well. Cardio, that's important. That's important too. I typically opt for high intensity cardio like twice a week. Working up to it, of course, especially if you haven't been doing it a long time. All right, let me know if this is helpful. If you need me to go in more detail about something, let me know that in the comments as well. Thank y'all. Subscribe and have a good day. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my bodyweight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/ShawnB2B Fitness today.